that this thing that you're doing, this thing called pass, right? It is probably the single most significant thing that you will do in Data's experience. We can talk to the guys who have done it before. Partly because it's this. How many of you all think that your teachers are all, your lecturers are all equal? It means regardless of who you pick in Data's, their quality is the same. How many of you all think that is true? Okay, how many of you all think that is wrong? That there are good lecturers and there are bad lecturers? Okay? Now, how many of you all believe the good lecturers are the ones who did well in their exams? I mean, they're good. That means they were good.
Lecturers are good in exams.
I mean, did well in their exams, like when they were students, they were actually like the top student of the class or something like that. No. But how many of you all believe that all the so-called bad lecturers you just identified did badly in their exams? The reason I'm asking you this, there could be many of the lecturers that you think bad, actually very clever people. It's just that they don't know what they're doing or they can't teach. How many of you all think all the successful managers that some of you are training to become are going to be successful because you can do well in exams? No. What is the single tool that all successful managers have? Convincing communication. I must get you to do things even when you really don't want. It's just like a general in the war. When he calls his troops to come out, there are people who don't want to fight. There are people who are afraid of fighting. There are people who are afraid of darkness. There are people who are afraid of heights. There are people who are afraid of everything. Yet, they can convince them to come out to fight. The same thing. A good manager doesn't only know how to work with his so-called kiss-ass people. A good manager works with everyone. A good manager can get anyone to do everything. And all good managers have event entailers besides pass that can teach you that skill. Technical communication means you are going to choose a subject, and the subjects that you are identifying to help out are the subjects that traditionally students have difficulty with. And you're going to convince them to enjoy the subject and understand the subject. It's a skill that no other activity can teach. And it's the single most thing that can distinguish. I can bet you my house. You take all my good past leaders and 10 years from them, go and see them in the alumni meeting. I bet you they will be statistically more qualified, more successful than the average Taylor student. This is the only opportunity where you win twice. You get paid for your services and you win in skills. In fact, the guinea pig is the guy who's receiving your training. He doesn't actually benefit in any way. He comes to you, you develop your communication skills and you get paid. And that guy goes with the illusion that he may do well in the exam. I mean, they are there for one reason. They either are confused or they hate what they're doing and they hope to come to your class and somehow you inspire them to do something. But you are the true benefactors from this whole experiment. Okay? Now, I want everyone to stand up. Well, this is the best form of past learning. You have to ask me the dumbest question you can ask me regarding past. Okay? You get to only sit if you have asked the question. Okay, free for all. First, who wants to ask me first?
How many hours a week?
Answers from me. How many hours a week? Now, as you know, that per session of teaching has 3 hours of commitment. 1 hour of classroom we call it a classroom visitation. What are you calling it?
Attend lectures.
Yeah, every week. Classroom, the attendance, the classroom. We give you, assuming that you're going to be dedicatedly preparing something. So we assume that you're going to spend time preparing. Don't become like some of your lecturers just walk in the class, right? You're going to prepare and you're going to teach. So we assume that there's a minimum of 3 hours commitment from you. So we are actually going to pay something to relevance to the 3 hours. Now, what is the benefit of going to somebody's class? You would have finished the class well. Why do we still make you go to the other people's class? That's good. See, sometimes the lecturer would have explained this idea to you with another example. And this time he's using another example because maybe he thought this example would explain the situation better. So when a past student comes to your class, you suddenly don't want to take him and put him in another environment and quickly say, no, this is how my lecturer taught me. No. See, this is what your lecturer is. You want to use words like, this is what your lecturer was talking about. This is what he meant. This is how you could interpret this. This is how you... So that is why, to get the common experience, we make you follow the class. So you will be teaching him from their perspective. Just like you come to my class in physics, I teach you in Tamil. Can you understand? Cannot. You have to use the example, the environment, that frame of reference to instruct the person. So that's why we make you go to the class. So don't think of it as an extra burden. Think of it as an extra opportunity to pick up tips and pointers the lecturers are using so you can put in force. Remember the mantra in their Sunday, tomorrow's training? They will repeat again and again. No reteaching. Because your job is not to teach. I hope you all in tomorrow's training, right? You will really, they'll drum it into you. No reteaching. This is not a teaching class, this is not a tuition class, this is not anything like that. This is to share your learning experience. How many of you all played sports? Okay, let me choose the Kaki Bangku first. How many of you have never played any kind of sports in school? Okay? How many of you have played for organized sports? Have you played?
I played runner.
Runner? What? Running away from one? Athlete?
Yeah.
So you had a coach? Run yourself. How many of you have played organized sports? You had a coach. You played basketball. You had a coach.
No. Assistant captain.
Assistant captain. But you didn't have a coach.
We didn't have.
Okay. Did the coach actually come and play with you?
When training.
He or she actually played the full game with you. No, coach don't play that.
Training.
Yeah, training time coach don't play. Right? Coach always stand by the side and observe and give you tips. So that's what you are doing. You're going to become a coach. So you don't actually go and say, okay, point 1, everybody write down, point 2, everybody write down. You don't do that. You coach. You say, take out your notes. I remember your lecturer talking about this. What do you think the lecturer meant by this? Does this answer your question? So you are coaching. You are actually playing the situation, not teaching anyone, because you don't want to be caught giving people answers. You don't want to be caught telling people what is right and wrong. You just coach. Check your textbook. Did you read this part? Did you see this part of the notes? Did you see this part of the PowerPoint? Remember your lecturer talked about this. What does it mean? You want to guide the learning process. Okay? Anyway, I answered more than your 3 questions. Okay, let us see. Thank you very much. Next question. Remember, you're not going to sit, and I'm not going to finish. I ate very good food this answer. I can stand for this. Hurry up, next question. You can ask the dumbest question, I don't care. In fact, the dumber the question, you can actually next time get some reward to give for people who ask real stupid questions. Okay.
Why should you here?
Why should you be here?
Oh, yeah.
You. You are here because you want to be a past lead trainer. You deep down inside you realize this is the greatest thing you're going to do in your career experience. And this is the beginning of the journey. And that's why you are here. And today we introduce an alternative method. Can you imagine you write this in your resume? That I have actually conducted training through the most advanced telecommunication method. I have conducted training using video conferencing. How many of you are equal guy when they finish one, remember the certificate now is like cheap. One college, you study once, you get 3 degrees. Study one, we give you 1 dozen. You just choose. It will be buy 1 dozen free. Soon the qualification is going to be so cheap. How are you going to tell people that you're better than the rest? You can tell this. Even as a college student, I have done not teleconferencing, tele-teaching. I have used the best design softwares to instruct and teach people. Can you imagine you hire me as a manager? I can be in a business meeting in Shanghai and still communicate and instruct my staff in Milai. The power of that tool. Who else can brag about this? You can, because you are here. Next question. Yes.
What if I conduct a class session but there's no one?
That's good. No, generally Miss Carol will try to help you to at least get 3 to 5 people in class. Otherwise, it's not economical to run this. That is also due to the quality of your charisma. Can you get people to come to your session? The normal, there's a curve that goes like this and then drops like this. You go first day, everybody get excited, a lot of people show up. Then, for some reason, they will start dropping. Because number one, they are very busy with their own project. That towards the middle of the semester and a lot of assignments start keeping in. But if you are effective, they will still come to you. Because they know they can gain from you. Because, of course, many of the Malaysians have this spoon-feeding attitude. They believe you are giving tuition. Because we are a country of tuition. How many of you don't know someone who is kindergarten taking tuition? Every Tamil, even kindergarten has got tuition already. So, we start tuition from kindergarten until college. So some of them will come with the wrong impression. So that's why you are saying, this is not tuition. Tuition is so simple. I tell you the right answer, you write and go home, you are still an idiot. I am here to enlighten you. I am here to coach you to become a better learner, a better thinker, a better student. So that is why your skills really come up, your convincing skill. Remember, this is not, I know everybody says, this is communication. No, this is convincing. Communication is just, you know, have you seen like all the MTV ones? You know they are only good for the show. You can't put them in a boardroom, you can't put them in any other situation. They just can do that, you know. This is not like that, right? This is really convincing. So you've got to convince them. Sometimes it's not an easy thing, it's not your fault, it's the whole situation. The timetabling, the pressure, because they may take another class, which is overwhelming. So they kind of compromise your class to attend another class. So most of the time you must be aware that these things do happen and it's not easy. You can talk to the seniors, it's not easy. And we also can't solve it. We would like all our past classes to be full. Because when I show Prof. Hassan my budget, he will say, okay, how many students benefited? You know, I would really have to show him a very convincing record. Because all this money is taken from the company profit. You see, Dato' Law is just paying off all this money to all the students. So he needs a report to see it's benefiting somebody. And it's very difficult, it's not easy. But don't worry, it's not mostly nothing to do with you. It's just the way things are. But we are starting. No, that's a good thing. Okay? Yes?
How should we appear in front of the students? Although it's called as peer-assisted study session. So how do we need to...
Anything that, first of all, you have to be comfortable. Right? Don't behave or carry yourself in a way that you're not comfortable. You have to be comfortable, yet you must be distinguished. See, if you are in a basket of green apples, you want to be the single red apple. You're still an apple, but you're not the green apple. No, there's slight difference. The reason is, just like, would you like your parents to be your best friend, or would you like your parents to be good parents who are understanding?
Good parents, understand.
Nobody wants their mother to compete with them in fashion, or their fathers to compete with them in clubbing, right? Nobody really wants that kind of parent. You want your father to be your father, but understanding. You want your mother to be your mother, but understanding, not your competitor. Same thing. You are a peer, a clever peer. I mean, a peer with better leadership quality, better management skill, but still, you are on this side, you are guiding them. Few tricks, girls especially, never give out your handphone number. If you want to communicate, it must be only through email or through Miss Carol. Because you know what these dungus will do? One night before they said they'll call you at 3 in the morning. Hey, you know the answer for this one. My friend yesterday, we were talking in Pyramid, he told me, sure, this question coming up. You got the answer for this. Yeah, but you don't want to punish yourself because some important calls can come in. So the idea is from the beginning, email or tell her, she will let you know. Not directly to you. Okay, next question.
What if when we explain the things with them using English, they can't understand? Can we use other language?
You are not a lecturer, so you can. The policy is for lecturers cannot use any other language, but also you must be courteous. See, as an Indian, right, whenever I go out with my Chinese friend, I always thought some of them are very rude because they have me in the table, but when a conversation takes place, they speak in their local dialect. They always marginalize me. Or at least that's what I felt. It's not that I was not seeing it from their point of view. You know, that's a comfortable language. It's the first thing that comes out of the mind. They were not actually planning to marginalize me. It just comes naturally over the years. So you don't want the same situation to be like that. You don't want one guy who don't understand the dialect and then you kind of conduct the lesson in that particular language. If you think that it's one word that's preventing him from understanding, then it's good to release the lock, because just that one word is not catching. But don't put yourself in a position where someone will accuse you, hey, wait a minute, you're marginalizing me because you're intentionally speaking in a language which I can't participate. So don't get caught for that. But don't be, I don't like to run by policy. You don't want to have a policy so stupid that you can help him, but yet you cannot help because there is a policy, Don't fall into that trap now. Next question, yes.
How to avoid students that actually come to class and just want to take notes and then they don't understand, then they...
Oh, very simple. Don't give notes. You're not teaching. You are helping them to understand their own experience.
As in, maybe they copied and then they don't understand, then their friend doesn't really explain to them, then they start to... I met people who actually claim that class is not effective because of the notes and stuff.
Yeah, but see, that's how the good leaders generally don't touch that area. They always, I think later they will show the video, right, in the training. If you see the sample training in Wollongong and so many other places, they actually say, okay, you tell me what your lecturer talked about. They say, oh, my lecturer talked about this. What do you think? So they go back again and again and again, help to guide them understand their own material. You can give some reference and say, oh, I actually think this could mean this. When I read this book, this is what I thought it was. Or like for maths, this particular book, this example is excellent. So you may give examples like that, but don't commit and say, okay, here's my note, or here's this. No, because remember, the word is not teaching, you are coaching. So don't get yourself into the corner where you're actually committing by giving some notes and giving something, and then suddenly you say, oh, I'm contradicting what my lecturer said. You don't want to get caught now. Remember, the past is never the past fault, it's a Malaysian student mindset's fault. Malaysian student mindset is, I come to you, I don't know this, tell me. Then you tell them, and then they go away. They don't care how you discovered it. Just like many Malaysian businesses. If you go and see Malaysian, go to Mid Valley, go to Pyramid. Do you see any Malaysian product being sold? No, we are master retailer. You buy from someone, you sell from someone. I don't know anything, I ask you, you give me, I write and submit. I myself don't need to know anything. So that is a big mindset. So you're actually challenging a culture. So it's not easy, but stay in the fight because it will really help you.
After attending the lecture, are we going to get some materials from the lecture for our past section, or we just prepare it ourselves?
Okay, good question. That one, you see, is the lecturer's call. It's not a policy the lecturer must help you. You can always go and say, can you please guide me in this? Or do you have additional resources that I can read? So that one is your relationship with the lecturer. It once again challenges your negotiating skills. Can you go to someone and say, can you help me with this? How do I work with this? Do you have another example or something? Or this is new to me? That is just, but there is no policy the lecturer has to give you anything. The lecturer only acknowledge you came so that when she do the payment, she can have it. Because, this ISO thing, right? Even you cough also, you must write down what time you cough. So she is, her burden is to prepare evidence. Like we are recording this not because we want to shock and really look at ourselves talking later. It's something like, what did we do? Yes, take a video recording. Did you pay? Yes. By evidence, yes. So the lecturers only just acknowledge you came, but they're not obligated to give, but you must negotiate. If you really have a problem that you really want some extra help and nobody is giving, you can talk to us and I'll find an alternative lecturer to help you out. That's only if there's a real need. Okay?
So we still can prepare our notes?
Yes. But don't come back to the idea. You're not preparing to give something. You're not giving.
Prepare before the lecture. We can actually prepare ourselves.
See, what is the definition of learn? If you go and check some sophisticated dictionary, William Webster, William Mary or something that's more sophisticated, beyond that thin one that all of us have, they will give you the genealogy of the word. It is what root word. To learn is to actually to absorb. To educate is actually to bring out. An educated person and a learned person is not the same. If you go and ask a person, a learned person, what do you think about the One Malaysia? Oh, according to Prime Minister Najib, One Malaysia is when he's learned. He can tell you in 3 days newspaper, which paper, what article, what date, what was said. An educated person answers, well, this is an effort by a Prime Minister to consolidate this fragmented society. A state where historically for the last 51 years, 52 years, that has been broken by components and race and ethnic, is an effort of a Prime Minister to create a unified system. So he doesn't even know which paper, who he came on. Because he has read all this, and then it is all mixed in his internal blender, and his own answer is coming up. So when you teach, you must give an educated thing. This is what I think. Okay? Okay. Next.
If we don't have a textbook for that particular subject, should we buy it or?
Of course, buying, I mean, that is beyond my call line. If you want to buy it for reference, good, you can borrow from the library to keep a reference.